What's going on today, folks? Johnny P here again. Hey, I just wanted to jump on here today and kind of talk about something that I don't know if I've mentioned before, as far as my journey using carnivore, fasting, and working out, running, weightlifting, all that good stuff. How it helped to help me lose 160 pounds in less than a year, or right about a year, somewhere around there. But yeah, I think one of the biggest things that I forgot to mention, or maybe I have in my previous videos, but I really wanted to touch on it today. It's about the 10,000 steps. And I know it could be, really, or pushed really heavily, or, something that you're not doing. I think the 10,000 is like arbitrary. I don't think it really matters. I think it's really meant to try to get you, or get your mind right as far as making that decision to move, and be diligent about that. So I think while 10,000 is a good goal, that's what I set my goal at is 10,000. And it was tough in the beginning, of course, having that 160 pounds, on my body, and trying to move and be active and all that. It was tough, especially now, though. The way I'm able to move now is definitely a lot easier than it was. But yeah, so before, I just made it a point, and I think that's the whole thing behind the 10,000 steps, is just to get a number that you're gonna hit for that day, and make it a commitment. And I think that goes for anything from your diet to working out to your steps. It's all about commitment, and how much are you willing to put into what you're gonna get out of it. So I think it's while it doesn't necessarily have to be 10,000 or anything like that. I just think that it's very important to have that goal, whether it's 6,000, 12,000, anything like that. Just do more than what you're doing now. I'd recommend, getting obviously a step counter. I think your phones, for the most part, will get pretty close to how many steps you've taken. So I think that that'll definitely help. But I have a watch that I use, and it tracks my steps and all of that stuff. And especially in the beginning, I've had a smart watch for a while, and in the beginning, I mean, you can just kind of tear through your data on there, and just see exactly how many steps you're taking per day, and just keep amping that up. Again, I don't think the 10,000 is exactly what you need need to hit every day. I think you need to get a baseline as far as what you're doing currently, and then keep upping it. And I think it's just, to put that at the forefront of your mind, to make sure that you are being diligent while you're moving, or I'm sorry, to make it forefront of your mind, to move, to move more actively, making sure that, you're kind of bought into this program, as far as, your diet's on point, you're working out if that's what you're choosing to do. And then on top of that, just, getting your steps in. And I think 10,000 is a nice round number. It's something that's was pushed a while back ago. I'm sure it's still pushed today. But yeah, I mean, if 10,000 is a goal you want to set for yourself, it did wonders for me. Just always constantly thinking about getting those steps, and it didn't take over my day or anything like that, but it always kept it okay, well now I need to get up and move. Now I need to make sure I get these steps in. And I think another good point to that is I'm not waiting till the end of the day to get your steps in, because then it becomes this whole to-do. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy or anything like that, but I think if you spread it out throughout the day, if you do maybe 2,000 in the morning, 2,000 in the, or 3 or 4,000 in the afternoon, and see what you have left. I think if you're diligent about that, and you really give that a shot, I think that'll kind of work you up to possibly doing some cardio, whether that's on a bike or anything like that. But I think just that initial first step is definitely going to help. And I think that's what kind of helped me, now that I'm kind of looking back on it. Not only was the diet change huge, for me actually losing the weight, the initial weight, that first 80 pounds, was strictly diet alone. I didn't work out at all, but I did get my steps in. So while it's that it's just that everyday activity, I think that's what really helped too. So I mean, along with your diet and getting your steps, and it seems, at least to me, I won't project this onto you guys, but at least to me, it kind of felt I was like, what is 10,000 steps going to do for me? I need to hit the ground running. I need to go run a marathon, or I need to burn as many calories as possible. While, some people do want to have that approach, and, all and more power to you. But it's one of those things that I feel like the gradual change, as far as getting your body more active, along with that diet, and then shedding those pounds. Last thing I want anyone to do is to get hurt or to pull anything, or damage your joints or anything like that. By taking off doing sprints when you're really overweight or slightly overweight or whatever that looks like. You always want to build that foundation first, before you put your house on it. You want to make sure that you do have those building blocks, and that you are taking care to make sure that you are losing weight, before you can start running and doing all that. And that's just and that's just my personal opinion. That's how I approached my diet. I didn't want to do any long-term damage. Even though I had been active before, it wouldn't be like, okay, well, I'm just deciding to run. But even with that, being active in my younger life, and being a younger man and being able to sprinting and doing all that stuff, it made more sense to me to kind of gradually get into it. Now that only comes with the working out, because like I told you guys, mine was a 180 completely with the diet. So I jumped into that and wanted to do that immediately and wanted a complete change on that. This one, as far as the working out stuff, that was more gradual. And then once I got to a certain point, I was like, all right, I'm gonna hit this head on, and start really hitting the gym and really hitting cardio pretty good. So that was just kind of like my whole thing with like the 10K steps. Again, I think I really do. I think it's an arbitrary number. I think you need to get yourself a baseline first, and after that, I think that you can go from there and kind of see where you're at as far as where you want to up that to. Let's say you're at 5,000 steps, maybe jumping up to 5,500 or 6,000. Anywhere like that, I feel like just gradually step it up, whether that's whatever's comfortable with you. If you want to step it up 1,000 a week, or whatever that looks like, whatever you're comfortable with, I think that's awesome. I just think you need to make that part of your everyday, and making sure that this is one thing that you are in control of, is how much you move your body on top of your lifestyle change as far as your diet goes. I feel like that, coupled with the 10,000 steps or whatever number that you choose, I feel like that'll be a great combination. Again, sticking with your diet is the biggest one though, and then adding things in there. So that's just kind of what I wanted to let you guys know today, and kind of like where I was at when I first started on this journey, and how it helped me. As things come up, I'll definitely be, if I remember them, I'll definitely, be making videos about it, and just to kind of ease the transition as far as if you're barely starting, or if someone who's starting, or, you're at the finish line and you're just maintenance now. Whatever that looks like, I still think moving is going to be the best bet for you. Well, you guys have a great rest of your day. If you guys have any comments, feel free to drop them down in the comment section. If not, I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.